My name is Demetrius Mitchell, baseball trainer from Birmingham, Alabama.
Well, how long you been doing the pitching business?
I've been doing the pitching business about 15 years.
15 years.
Yes.
And so, how did you end up coming to Kansas City of all places?
Well, Kansas City, Missouri. Actually, I met a guy from Atlanta named Will Gilbert, and he spoke very highly of you in your organization, and he connected us together. And I thought it would be great just to go out to Kansas City, Missouri and experience working with African-American kids.
Mm-hmm. When is it that you realize that you had something? Like, you can coach kids, you can train your neighbor's son to pitch. When was it you said, you know what, I have a pitching program and a process that I know really develops kids?
Well, I actually feel like God gave me this gift when I was that inner city kid coming out of West End High School, and I went to a predominantly white junior college. And I thought I threw hard, but I didn't really compare it to some of the other pitchers that was there. And I had a baseball coach slash father figure slash dad a guy by the name of Todd Alford that taught me every aspect of pitching from the ground up.
Okay.
And normally when guys coach a certain way, they have been previously coached that way by their college coach. And you just basically not really repeating what they're saying, but you have some of the same characteristics.
Okay. So this is a question for you. There's baseball and then there's teaching. Do you consider yourself 100% a baseball guy, 100% a teacher, or a good mix of both?
A good mix of both. I'm a player development guy.
Okay.
And my strong points, I can do a lot of things that relates to baseball, and my strong point is pitching.
Okay.
When he broke his hands, when the balance leg went down, and broke his hands, balance leg went down, and the ball came out the glove, it looks more like a slingshot on the backside. That's arm speed and that's fast arm. But when I kind of observed you guys here just briefly, some of you guys was here, some of you guys were here to stop, some of you guys came in, but we're going to work on that. Like for example, the first drill, we'll do 2-knee drill, and the glove, ball and the glove will be here. Sometimes when you think about separating your hands, you pull apart. But when you think about breaking your hands, it comes down. And you see a lot of big leaguers come set, whatever way they set up here, they come set and they tap. They may pause, they may rock, but nothing takes place until the balance leg comes down and the hands drop. And when the hands drop, you got continuous motion. But I can say this, most guys, I don't know the statistics on this, but most guys that know pitching know hitting. Okay. But not many guys that know hitting know pitching.
And why is that?
Well, I feel as being a pitching guy, I can see a lot. I can look at different ways to pitch pitchers.
Right.
If he struggle, with the inside pitch, if he struggle low and away, different things like that. And sometimes as being a position player, you don't really lock in on certain things about pitching. Right. You're just trying to figure out how to do certain things that, or certain ways to hit. If it's, middle, it's fastball middle in or fastball middle way, you trying to keep your average up and just kind of figure out different strategies about pitching.
Okay.
When you're getting it as a hitter.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're right-handed, you pitch from the left side of the rubber. Pay attention, close attention to this.
Left side of the rubber. Guys do that in the big league because they're trying to run that fastball into a righty and away from a lefty. But I'm gonna cookie cutter this and make sure everybody in the program pitch from, if you're right-handed, you're gonna pitch from the right side of the rubber. And if you're left-handed, you're gonna pitch from the left side of the rubber. If I'm right-handed, I'm pitching from the opposite side. Look. 0, 1. Okay, and if I'm right-handed, and I'm from the opposite side, it better run this much. You about to get it here. Because if you pitching from the opposite side of the rubber, and you right here, it's gonna create a problem. That's why I do it. That's the way I was taught. Because you're gonna learn how to get it here. Well, you're gonna get it here. Right there at the shortstop. So you out. But if you get it here, it's a problem. So
What kind of problem you get if you get it there, Coach?
I'm on video.
Yeah. What kind of problem they get?
You're gonna need some big game. Freaking neck gonna be blocked. Hey, or you come here, your neck locked, and you come out here. You know how we do. We start messing with our pants, all this, and spit your sunflower seed out on the ground, and get the next guy out. Or your daddy just got a hot dog and some nachos, and he cussing at you and your grandma and everybody. That's how you do in Birmingham. Okay? So, right side, right there is plate bacon. Ear, the intro righty, nose, split the belly button, away from arm side righty, left. So ear, nose, ear. And if we practice drills where
You need your glove. You need your glove, Gavin.
if we practice drills like this, fastball, if we miss, that target's gonna be on the ground. So if we miss, we're gonna be here. Okay, now. And we're gonna get like dummies and some managers where we up on the plate. And we're gonna pitch right in there without hitting it.
With the way baseball is going, you got fall ball, you got winter workouts, you have personal training. At what age do you think a kid should determine, or a parent should determine, or a coach should determine he's a pitcher? At what age, my team, everybody's a pitcher till you tell me otherwise. And that's starting at 9, 10, 11. At what age do you think you say, you know what, you need to really focus on pitching?
Well, I actually, Coach Chris, I like your philosophy because you might as well put a little emphasis on pitching anyway, because when the kids are being evaluated in certain areas, the throwing motion has to be correct anyway. So
right.
If I can start a kid, I know if I had kids, if I could start a kid out pitching right after coach pitch, I would do that. And then just, pretty much let him compete pretty much from 8.5 to 12. Okay. Because I feel from 8 to 12, all the kids are somewhat decent. But when they get that's pretty much 46 feet to 50 feet. Right. But when they make the transition from 50 feet to 60, Coach Chris, that's gonna let you know if you just basically been going through the motion with pitching lessons. Okay. Or your time being wasted, because at that point in the 7th grade, right, either you're gonna make the team, or Dad, I wanna play basically lacrosse. Right. I wanna do something different.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I got you. What, you're talking about travel ball and how do you gauge as a trainer seeing a lot of players where they get to high school, how do I spend my money as a parent? Do I spend my money on a travel team? Do I spend my money going to individual showcases? Do I spend my money with personal training? Do I, if you had, let's just say 100% of your money, how would you divide, in high school, how would you divide your money, your investment up? You got 100%. How would you divide your investment up between training, showcases, and just team cost or whatever?
Well, what I would do, I would probably get a trainer for each area, Coach Chris. Okay. I would get me a strength and conditioning guy. I would get me a pitching guy or infield guy. I would basically will put more emphasis on fixing the problem versus spending $3,500 and little Johnny still short arming the ball, and little Johnny still swing is kind of long.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, one thing I like about the Kings organization is that, you know, you went out and found somebody that, you know, could add value to your program.
Good arm action when he drops.
Mm-hmm.
He slight will get away.
Yeah, but it seems like he gets
like for example, I started in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden I go to St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Then I try to kick, and then my weight already going forward, and the arm don't catch up.
Need to go a little further south.
Yeah.
And from the start, it's good. It's just a little slight disconnect when I'm getting towards going down.
Okay.
See that?
Yeah.
But one thing I like at the end is got some snap.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see how his weight is getting there first.
See that arm fast, man. You just gotta keep it fast.
So maybe backside needs to drop a little more.
Yeah. Yes.
That's like me. I'm not an infield guy. If my son was an infielder, I wouldn't just I would give him the basics, but I would try to find somebody that can actually go in depth with, you know, basically how to round the ball, how to stay small, how to get through it, how to, you know, feel a ground ball from your feet up, from the ground up. And a lot of organizations don't go out and do that. And this was, being here in Kansas City, Missouri, it was probably one of the best experiences of my life. And I see a lot of baseball.
Wow.
I see a lot of baseball, but I never came to a city where I seen 60 black kids ever. And my schedule, the rest of the week is Dallas for 4, North Carolina for 5, and the country, Columbia for 5. And then it repeats itself.
Right.
But just to come to Kansas City, Missouri, here, and actually being here with your program, it has helped my business to branch out with other organizations here in Missouri. That's why I was here the second time, because of, you know, the program.
Right. So when you say you haven't seen anything like it, why do you think more black kids aren't playing baseball
Well, for one,
or competitive baseball?
well, for one, Chris, is very expensive. It's a little bit different from buying that football helmet or basketball. Mom could probably sell maybe barbecue or fish on the weekend
Right.
to make sure little Johnny gets to AAU versus spending $250 on an A2000
Right.
or close to $400 on the top Eastern back. It's very expensive.
Okay.
And I feel that our kids get slightly intimidated and pushed out of this because the football coach, he's gonna want that wide receiver to get as many reps as he can.
Right.
And that's gonna take away from his at-bats that he could be doing in the spring. And, okay.
What makes our kids good at baseball? Just a natural fit for baseball.
Well, basically, what you're doing outside lesson and getting extra reps. That's the drop off, because that suburb kid, he might have enough money to do extra, or dad gonna make a way where he's gonna go and get whatever he need or get extra cuts. I'm not saying that African American guys don't do that, but just look at the overall percentage. It doesn't add up, and that's why sometimes our players, our kids get mixed out, and it's out.
And I think even beyond the money, kids that are 12, 13, 14, 15 now, their parents didn't grow up with a love of baseball.
Correct.
So they're not coming from baseball families. So they don't necessarily know the process or what it takes to be successful in baseball, or even how close their kid is to being. They just drop them off at the game, picking them up, and don't realize that they really own to something.
Correct.
What do you think we can do to kind of educate parents as your kid is really has a chance, or your kid, you know, can get a scholarship, or your kid can do something different with his life because of this sport?
Well, basically, what you're doing is one way, and one way I like your system is you're giving a parent something, even of, let's go for example, video. What Derek looked like in February versus what he looked like in late March. It's a difference.
Okay.
And getting out, fixing a problem, a lot of time maybe educating our parents, start setting up different meetings for the parents, making sure that he needs to be at this level on his speed, you know, knowing that the average pop time in the big leagues is a 2.0. That's average. Average fastball is what, 90, 91 miles per hour. Knowing that guys that's on the corner, left, third, right, first base, in the big leagues, those are your power guys. Guys up the middle, those are guys are your speed. That's why you see a lot of brothers playing center field. And catching, just having durability, you know, just different things, because it's 5 Qs: fielding, hitting, power, speed, and throwing.
Right.
Once again, fielding, hitting, power, speed, and throwing. You know, out of your organization, I guarantee you alone, 90% in there have one Major League 2. I bet you all of them can run.
Yeah.
So that's 1, 2. So we're fixing the throwing.
Right.
So that's another 2. A lot of power, we don't know. You can't. It's hard to really project out power.
Right.
Fielding could be fixed. Basically, it's just prime example. Tim Anderson.
Right.
That was the starting shortstop for the White Sox. That was a kid didn't even have a scholarship. Scholarship. Coming right out of high school, went to a Division II junior college, East Central Mississippi Community College, and wound up going the first round.
Wow.
I think he wound up being the 21st pick in the first round.
Okay. And what? And these are lasting comments. What would you say to the Kings players from what you've seen? You spent time with them. I think it was November.
Yes, sir.
Back in March, and just their progression, some of the things they need to think about, where they are. Just some words of motivation to them.
Well, to this organization, I feel like there's a lot of talent, and I'm not just saying it just to say it. There's a lot of talent. I like being here. I feel like our kids need to go and just watch baseball, because I think just like they sit in front and watch LeBron, just like they sit in front and watch Patrick Mahomes, your quarterback,
Right.
you need to sit and go watch a Royals game and want to get there early and realize, and you can realize to yourself, I can do this. Or you can maybe someday be a Lorenzo Cain, Tallahassee Community College. And wasn't even the guy at Tallahassee. Mike McLeod, the head coach at TCC, said he actually wanted somebody else. He wanted a pitcher, and Lorenzo Cain came with him, and he wound up signing him. And the boy won a World Series with you guys, playing center field.
Yep.
So for the Kings organization, just getting your reps in, realizing that practice don't make perfect. Perfect practice make perfect. You gotta perfect what you do. And just knowing that, Coach Chris, different things that you guys can do. You get anybody on, 90% of your players, it's gonna be hard to throw out. That's one. They athletic enough to run balls down in the gap. They athletic enough to get behind the dish, and you just give them a base on how to throw guys out.
Right.
But once our kids learn how to pitch with pitchability, it's amazing.
How do you define pitchability?
Pitchability, knowing how to pitch in certain situations, knowing that you can command the fastball, if command the fastball at any given time, you won't. Certain counts, 0-2 count, we're ahead in the count. Instead of maybe on an 0-2 count for me, I'm not gonna go with my out pitch first.
Right.
I'm gonna make it chase one and try to get a swing and miss. Now it's 1-2 in the count. Now he don't know what's coming. I may get a fastball away. I may get a hard breaking ball. I might get a nasty slider down and in.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just having pitchability.
I think that you said there's 3 things to pitching.
Yes. Arm strength, which I would say a good, out of your whole organization, I would say 60% to 70% have arm strength. Arm action is what we fixing, and the parents of your organization should see that off the before and after videos.
Right.
And arm speed. The quicker the ball, the quicker your arm work, the quicker the ball out of your hand.
Okay.
And you can go look at any pitcher in the big leagues, and I know every parent, every dad that's out there saw Garrett Cole, knowing that I use him a lot, Strasburg and Greinke, and watch when those guys break their hands. You can't even hardly see it here. And what they're basically trying to do is get the throwing arm in the L position before the weight go forward. That's why I tell a lot of people that's out there, pitching and hitting is so similar.
Now this is probably the most important question of the day. Being a visitor to Kansas City, and you talking to another visitor that's coming to Kansas City, how do you prepare them to order from Gates Barbecue?
Oh wow! Wow! Order
To order from Gates Barbecue. What tips of advice would you give them?
Coach Chris, you better holler. You better holler like Coach Chris, like you're in the bottom of the 7th inning, and it's 2 outs.
It's 2 outs.
And you line up, outfield line up, 2 down.
It's pressure.
Yes. Like 5 people in front of me, and it's like next, and I'm looking around, Coach Chris. The lady next to me, like, are you gonna say something, sir? I said, ma'am, half a rack of rib fries, strawberry drink.
Right on.
Yes.
Right on.
And I actually got to the checkout counter, and the lady forgot. So, but I tell you, barbecue, Kansas City barbecue, you Coach Chris, you hooked me, bro.
You hooked.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Anything else you want to say?
Oh man, just grateful that God put us together. Thanks to Coach Will Gilbert. You know, I met your boy at Wake Forest, and came there with the head guy of Jack Daniel whiskey, and one of the top lawyers' sons. We came to trial at Wake Forest. I didn't know Will. We was the only 2 African Americans at Wake Forest at a showcase camp, and pretty much this guy hollered out and just say, "Hey, that's Puff Daddy." I said, "Are you kidding me?" And we just kind of just start talking, and he 2 weeks later, Chris, I'm on the phone with you.
Right.
If that's not God, what is?
Yeah. That's what it is.
And I'm on my second wave. I'm here, my second visit, and I couldn't come in town without seeing the Kings. So, you know, I'm looking forward for practice on Sunday to see them in game situations. So, you know, and also to have happy anniversary to I call him Obama Jr.'s viewers.
Everywhere we go, people wanna know. Hold on. Everywhere we go, people wanna know. People wanna know who we are. So we tell them. Woof, 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 King. You say it. Oh.
We are the
We are the King.
Mighty, mighty.
Mighty, mighty king.
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 Who?